Ah, Jean.
Oh, yes, no.
One in confidence, eh?
What about?
Allegations laid. Certain doorsteps, various complaints.
What about me?
Not specifically, no. Lady members in general.
Oh.
Apparently some of them have been standing about provocatively in the lobby.
Standing provocatively?
Well, some of the older members have become visibly distressed. No, not visibly. More distracted, unable to concentrate on the job in hand. On the job, as it were.
Really? You don't say?
Oh, I know. It's chauvinistic, it's sexist, it's too bad, but there it is. So, if you could just have a word with the rest of the girls next time you're having a natter in the hairdressers, a bit less leg, bit more hemline.
Yes, Norman, the girls here don't have a hairdressers. Of course, I know male MPs do, but women MPs can't even buy a pair of tights in this place.
Well, I can't buy a pair of socks, but don't get me complaining about it. I mean, it's the House of Parliament, it's not a boutique.
Now, who precisely has been complaining about provocation in the lobby?
Well, certain members, on both sides, actually. Oh, it's nothing to do with me, Jean. I mean, you come to work in a wetsuit for all I care. I'm just passing on the message. I'm the sewer, I'm not the sewage.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't see my standing in the lobby going about my rightful parliamentary business is inflaming anyone's passions.
No, me neither. There we are. So, if you could just tone it down a bit.
Tone what down a bit? What exactly does standing provocatively look like?
Well, I'm no expert, but I believe they mean a bit of this and some of that.
And that's provocative?
Well, obviously not when I do it.
Yeah, well, I should take care not to stand like that then, Norman. I wouldn't want to provoke anyone.
Quite. Yes. Well, I'm sorry about that.
Before you go, I'd like to complain about male MPs acting suggestively in the corridors, thrusting their pelvises forward as lady members walk by.
Oh, dear, can of worms. I told them it was a bad idea.
Morning, Harry.
Morning, Mr. Price.
Morning, Ken.
Morning, Jean. You all right? You're walking a bit like the woman that decided to do without the anaesthetic.
I feel like it, too. Oh, tell me, Ken, in the Commons cloakroom, what's that little pink ribbon for?
A pink ribbon?
Yes, above the coat hanger.
Oh, yeah, that's for hanging your sword on.
Oh, of course. I knew it had a contemporary feel about it.
Yeah. A bit like the woolsack, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Oh, the woolsack the Chancellor sits on. It was stuffed with wool because at the time, wool was the basis of British prosperity. So what should they be stuffing it with now, eh?
Japanese tourists?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, your phone rang. You're wanted over in Central Lobby.
I have just come from Central Lobby.
Well, you better get back there, then. Oh, Jean, hope it gets better.
So do I, but somehow I don't think it will. Where are they?
Over there.
And what do they want to see me about?
They're environmentalists. I've got some details here.
Oh, so they're Greens?
Well, yes, but with a small G.
Ah.
I mean, I don't think they're Greens politically. I mean, they're not Greens.
So what are they politically?
I don't know. Probably red.
Red Greens?
I think so. Or possibly light blue.
Can you get blue Greens?
Well, you can get green blues.
Ah, but they are left of centre.
Well, they're certainly left of right. A lot of Greens used to be right of centre, but they went left when they got disenchanted with the right. So they left.
Is that right?
Yes. Do you want to see them?
Are they still here?
Sorry?
What's it all about?
Nuclear and toxic waste.
What, in my constituency?
Apparently so.
Where?
Passing through.
Okay, I'll see them. Oh, and Tim?
Yeah.
You won't stand provocatively in the lobby, will you?
Sorry?
Toxic and nuclear waste?
Yep. They say it's being transported by rail through the constituency in unmarked containers in the middle of the night.
Oh, why do these foul deceptions always take place at dead of night?
Oh, I suppose it makes it all nice and furtive.
Well, do you think it's true?
Well, I don't see why they should make it up.
I don't see why they shouldn't.
What, go to all this trouble?
Oh, other people go to more trouble for less fun. There are hoaxers, Jean, whose entire leisure time is devoted to making their MPs look stupid. Not that MPs require any assistance in that direction.
But look, they've got photographs. Here.
Jean, what is this?
Well, it's a photograph of an unmarked railway container at night.
Yeah, it's not the sort of evidence to unduly trouble Rumpole of the Bailey.
Yes, I know, but I've got to do something about it, haven't I?
Why, there's not another election for a couple of years. Just a wee joke.
Yes, well, a large mushroom cloud hanging over my constituency won't exactly enhance my reselection prospects.
When it comes to mushroom clouds, none of us will have any prospects.
I'd say they're right. And one day there's an accident. These railway lines run within 100 yards of my constituents' houses. There are innocent families who know nothing about this, lying asleep.
Innocent families with little children.
Yes.
Tiny tots. Wee defenceless mites of unblemished character and spotless nappy. Frail grandmothers who've toiled all their lives to make a penny here and a penny.
I wouldn't expect you to take it seriously.
But I do, Jean, I am serious. Well, that's got to be your approach. You won't get much public sympathy if you say the railway line runs within 100 yards of drunks, pimps and the Inland Revenue. Could be cheering it on.
Do you think it's conceivable, then?
Well, it's not inconceivable.
So, how do I find out more about it?
Well, you better start asking questions in the house.
What sort of questions?
Questions like, am I prepared to ask a question? That's a question you've got to ask.
Do come in. Nice to see you.
No, Godfrey, it's not one of your constituents, it's your pair.
Oh, hello, Jean. Do sit down.
Are you busy?
Oh, never anything else. Gilts are up, I see.
How's income support doing?
Oh, I don't see that listed here.
Godfrey, I wanted to ask, have you been approached by that environmentalist group?
Yes, I have.
What did you think?
Nothing that a wash and a haircut wouldn't cure.
What did you think of what they said? That waste isn't just going through my constituency, you know. When it leaves London, it goes through yours as well.
Allegedly.
Well, yes, but isn't it worth investigating? They do have some evidence.
Oh, I'm rather inclined to doubt that. No, just sounds to me like scaremongering, politics of panic. Publicity, that's all they're after.
Maybe, but if what they're saying is true, it needs publicising, doesn't it?
Oh, Jean, that sort of thing just frightens people.
Well, they frighten me.
Well, look what they're like with their food. A little bit of salmonella in their eggs, which never did anybody any harm, as far as I know.
It has killed people, Godfrey.
Well, apart from that, a little bit of salmonella in a few eggs, and it's genocide for chickens. No, I'm inclined to wait and see.
Wait and see what? Whether eight-legged sheep start hopping up the high street?
You have to watch these environmental groups, Jean. They want it both ways. If they want clean power, they have to go nuclear.
Nuclear power isn't clean, Godfrey. It's as filthy as old boots. It's just that the dirt's invisible. I mean, what's the point in making new nuclear reactors when we've untapped natural resources? We've hydropower, solar power.
Solar power, but the sun is a nuclear reactor.
Yes, but it's a little further away than Sellafield, and we don't have to decommission it. Look, if people have toxic waste passing within 30 yards of their homes, they have a right to know.
Absolutely, yes. But so long as the people in charge know about it, I have every faith in the powers that be.
Godfrey, you are the powers that be.
Well, there you are, then.
So what are you going to do about it? Nothing?
Well, I shall certainly be monitoring the situation closely, keeping these matters in the forefront of my mind.
I see, less than nothing.
Jane, you haven't been here very long. You know you shouldn't believe everything that you're told.
No, Godfrey, I don't. And that's why I intend to start asking questions in the house.
Oh, well, that's a harmless occupation, so long as you don't attach any importance to it. Good luck.
Thank you, Godfrey.
Now, I wonder how my shares in amalgamated uranium are.
A question?
Yes? This is what we're here for, after all, isn't it? I mean, this is the whole function of an opposition, to ask probing questions.
No, it isn't. The whole function of opposition is to get elected next time.
Oh, yes.
To make the government accountable, that's the function of opposition.
By asking questions, that's what I said.
Yes, but you have to remember that MPs ask about 50,000 questions a year.
Not each.
Really?
Oh, yes. And why do they ask all these questions?
Because they're ignorant.
Well, a lot of you are, yes. To obtain information or to press for action.
Erskine May.
The political Bible.
And what is it that you want to do?
What?
Obtain information or press for action?
Yes, well, in a way, both.
Ah.
So should I ask 2 questions?
Well, you may have to.
And the rest?
What do you mean?
Well, just because you ask a minister a question doesn't mean he has to give you an answer.
No. And if a minister refuses to answer a question, then it can't be asked again until the next session of Parliament.
Even if he does give you an answer, he might not answer the question you've asked. He might answer another question altogether.
Yes. A question that he probably wished you'd ask.
Because he can give whatever reply he feels is appropriate, no matter how inappropriate that might be.
Does that answer your question?
Well, yes. And no.
Good. I think you're getting the hang of this, eh?
And then each day you can ask 2 oral questions.
Right. What about the written ones?
More or less unlimited. The last MP I worked for, he tabled about 1,000 questions a year.
What was he trying to do? Get into the Guinness Book of Questions?
I don't know, I didn't ask him.
Never mind. Go on.
Well, although you can ask 2 oral questions each day, you have to address each question to a different department.
But I can ask the same question.
Yes, if you phrase it differently, though there's a strong possibility you'll still get the same answer.
So what do you suggest, written or oral?
Well, I should say that an oral question is probably best if you're looking to embarrass the government.
But of course I am. That's what an opposition is for, to embarrass the government.
Well, that and to get elected next time.
Right. Well, we'll do that then. Oh, and get in touch with the environmentalists and arrange another meeting.
Fine. So that's all clear, is it, Jean?
Oh, absolutely. Could we go through it all again? Well, what about your contacts? These photographs are all well and good, but haven't you anything to substantiate them?
Well, yes, we do have inside information.
Yes, from confidential sources.
The only sort to have.
But we wouldn't want our informant to get into any trouble.
Okay, but I'm going to need all the help you can give me, confidential or otherwise. Right, now, so what we want to know is radioactive waste being transported through the constituency or isn't it?
Yes, basically.
Because until that is either confirmed or denied, we really can't take any further action. Sorry, Ken. It's not disturbing you, us being here.
No, not at all, don't mind me.
I tried to get a room, but I couldn't, and there was a big lobby in the lobby.
What a place to leave it, eh?
He's been up all night. Right, now, which department has responsibility?
Well, the transport department, I would have said.
Oh, what about environment?
It's energy.
Energy, are you sure?
Yep, energy, as in I haven't got any.
What about the health minister? It's a public health hazard, surely.
Well, ask at the table office, they'll know. They've got a table in there.
He's been up all night. Well, we may have to try them all. So written questions, Tim, to the various departments to either confirm or deny that radioactive waste is being transported at,
Enormous cost?
A hazard to public health.
at hazard to public health through the constituency, and we'll see how we go on from there. Right, I think that seems fairly watertight. Ken? Do you think they'll be able to wriggle out of that one?
Did the Birdman of Alcatraz have a dirty windowsill?
He's tired. He's been up all night.
Waste?
Yes.
Nuclear?
Yes.
Out there?
Possibly.
Passing within 30 yards of innocent families with little children and elderly grandmothers who work hard all their lives?
Steady on, Jeff. Your clichés are showing. Have you any Scots blood in you?
What do you mean? They could be out there now, trundling up and down the railway track with suitcases of plutonium in the luggage rack, and we're not being told about it?
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's dreadful. I've half a mind to write to my MP.
Yeah. I am your MP.
You better get your finger out then, or next time I'll vote for the Greens.
Is that the red greens or the green greens? OK, so let's put all the letters together, Tim, and see where we've got.
Right.
Right, Health Department. Now, what did they say?
They say the cost of collating the information you require would be disproportionately high in relation to the benefits accruing. It is therefore with reluctance that they feel unable at this juncture to make a more positive response.
And what does that mean?
They won't answer the question.
All right, Department of Transport.
Well, they regret that the information is currently unavailable in the precise form requested.
And what does that mean?
They won't answer it either.
Do you know what upsets me most about all this correspondence, Tim? It's the total waste of trees.
Department of Energy.
Oh, recycled paper.
No, I think someone's just trodden on it, actually. That's a footprint.
What do they say?
Sorry, can't help you. Haven't got the staff.
Well, at least that's honest.
Not entirely.
It isn't.
It's a well-known ploy. If a department doesn't want to answer an embarrassing question, it says it can't afford to do so. But it hasn't actually refused, so you can't complain about it.
But my question only needed a yes or no answer. What's expensive about yes or no?
Well, it's the very fact that it's so unambiguous. Whereas if they could answer your question without actually giving a definite answer...
Yes?
Well, they'd probably have answered it.
Well, I think that's a cheap and shoddy way of evading your responsibilities. And it puts us right back where we started. So what do we do now?
Would you like me to write and ask them?
I think you can answer that one for yourself. Whatever happened to those little desk signs they used to make that said the buck stops here?
The buck kept going, so they stopped making them.
I launch my three-pronged attack with a vengeance, and all I end up with is a bent fork. I mean, how do you get a straight answer to a straight question in this place?
No, you don't. Civil servants are like crabs. They can only proceed sideways.
Yes, well, I am tearing my hair out.
Yeah, that's the score, eh? Knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss, but uncertainty is murder.
What is that thing?
Huh? Oh, Celtic famine relief.
There is a canteen over the road.
Yes, I know some of the survivors who are still fighting for compensation.
There must be another way to find out what I want to know.
Oh, try the PM. Try and get one down for Prime Minister's question time.
But it's not the Prime Minister's responsibility, is it?
Isn't it?
Well, how would I phrase the question?
Well, you want to know if toxic nuclear waste is being transported through your constituency, right?
Right.
Well, what you have to do is to ask her what her official engagements are a fortnight on Thursday.
Why don't I just ask her where she buys her tights?
Oh, no, don't get her started on her favourite subject. Well, you frame the question that way to conceal what you're really after. Then you get a second bite at the apple with your supplementary question, and that's when you nail her. A bit like boxing, really. Sort of get her groggy with a dummy and then put her flat on the canvas with the real question. It's combination punching.
So she'll have no idea of what my real question's going to be?
No.
Then how can she answer it? She won't have the information.
Well, she'll have been briefed.
Who by?
Well, her servants, civil and otherwise.
And how will they know what I'm going to ask?
Well, they won't, but they'll make an educated guess with your known areas of interest, and then they'll brief her accordingly.
So, in other words, I ask her what she's doing on Thursday fortnight in order to catch her unawares with my real question, which she'll have been prepared for by her civil servants, who will have guessed what I'm going to ask anyway.
That's it. Wonderful thing, democracy, eh?
So I'm finding out. Thank you. Well, we finally got an answer, and that was it.
Well, it seems very strange in view of our information.
Maybe, but there we are. No domestic radioactive waste is being transported through the constituency. You're sure your facts were correct?
Yes, positive. You don't think perhaps,
What? Economical with the truth?
Oh, hardly on an issue like this. I think we must credit the government and civil service with a modicum of integrity.
Yes.
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 Could I read that reply again?
Oh, yes, of course, Tim.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Yes, well, of course, that must be it.
What?
Well, it's worth trying. If we could just change that one word and ask the question again.
Which word?
Well, here, where you talk about the transportation of domestic waste, try changing the word domestic to military.
Why didn't we think of that?
Yes, why?
Not in the public interest.
Well, I could have told you he'd say that.
Yes, as he wouldn't give any information about military waste because it wasn't in the public interest, I asked in that case if he'd care to say what the public interest is.
Go on.
To which he replied that it would not be in the public interest for the public interest to be defined.
Why not?
Well, not in the public interest.
He said that for him to define the public interest would only put limits on the public interest, and this would not be in the interest of anyone, least of all the public.
Well, why bother to ask me anything when you can go and waste your time?
Is that clear to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I've only been here 15 years. What could I possibly know?
Have you ever had the feeling, Ken, that just when you think you've seen the light at the end of the tunnel, it turns out to be an oncoming train?
Don't bother to take my advice. You just go make your own mistakes.
So what are you going to do now?
Well, I'm going to ask just one more question.
What, like, why do I bother?
Why do I bother, do you mean? I mean, don't mind me. I'm just a whip. Gratitude in the Labour Party don't make me laugh. Is it any better with your lot?
I still can't find income support.
Oh, I think I'll just stay where I am.
So, I thought I'd just ask the health department this time, just once more. Have you got the letter there, Tim?
Just finding it.
I asked the Minister if he'd care to assess what risks to public health existed in the constituency that could in any way be related to the transportation of unspecified military materials at unspecified times of night.
So what was his reply?
Well, it wasn't very specific.
Here it is.
Thank you. Yes, now, the Minister declined to assess such risks as it was not, in his view, necessary.
Oh.
For had such risks ever existed, which he did not admit, then they no longer did, if they ever had, as such practices, if there were any, had stopped.
Aha.
If they had ever started. And other routes, not that they were needed, had now been found, in order to allay public disquiet, not that there was any, or if there had been, it was misplaced. What do you make of it?
Well, I mean, that's marvellous, Jean. Tremendous.
It is.
Yes. It means we've won.
It does. It doesn't feel like it. I thought we'd lost.
In politics, that can be very much the same thing.
Thank you, Tim, for those few words of philosophy.
No, it's a major climb down and quite a significant change of policy.
Well, I thought they just fobbed us off again.
No, not if they've changed the routes. We'll just have to find out which new route they've chosen and start all over again.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'm sure it won't be in your constituency.
Oh, good.
Yes, well, I'm sure we'll see you again, Jean. Thank you very much for all your hard work. Bye.
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 Sort of professional nuisance, really, Tim. A bit like you.
Handled that rather well, I thought, though. Actually.
Gee.
Yes, Godfrey.
I just had the most extraordinary conversation with my whip. Do you know anything about it?
Oh?
Well, apparently some lady members have complained that certain MPs, myself included, have been walking suggestively through the lobby.
Now, I'm sure you couldn't have been one of the culprits, Godfrey.
Well, quite. I mean, I spend a great deal of money with a very good tailor, so these misunderstandings shouldn't arise. I mean, do you know what's behind it?
Well, now, there's a question, Godfrey.
Yes.
Yes, well, there you are. This is it.
Well, that's rather what I thought.
Yes. Well, I'm glad I could be of help. Excuse me.
Yes, thank you, Judy.